President Donald Trump spoke at a memorial service today in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, marking the 17th anniversary of the September 11 terrorist attacks. During his speech, he issued 3 bold words that his predecessor, Barack Obama, would never dare say in public. On September 11, 2001, 19 militants associated with the Islamic extremist group al-Qaeda hijacked 4 airplanes and carried out suicide attacks against targets in the United States. 2 of the planes were flown into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City, a third plane hit the Pentagon just outside of Washington, D.C., and the 4th plane crashed in a field in Pennsylvania. Nearly 3,000 people were killed during the 9/11 terrorist attacks, which triggered major U.S. initiatives to combat terrorism and defined the presidency of George W. Bush. This also marked the deadliest day in history for New York City firefighters. 343 were killed. According to History.com, it was 8:45 a.m. on a clear Tuesday morning when an American Airlines Boeing 767 loaded with 20,000 gallons of jet fuel crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. The impact left a gaping, burning hole near the 80th floor of the 110-story skyscraper, instantly killing hundreds of people and trapping hundreds more on higher floors. As the evacuation of the tower and its twin got underway, television cameras broadcasted live images of what initially appeared to be a freak accident. Then, 18 minutes after the first plane hit, a second Boeing 767, United Airlines Flight 175, appeared out of the sky, turned sharply toward the World Trade Center and sliced into the South Tower near the 60th floor. The collision caused a massive explosion that showered burning debris over surrounding buildings and onto the streets below, and it immediately became clear that America was under attack. During his speech today commemorating the terror attacks of September 11, 2001, President Donald Trump condemned radical Islamic terrorism, a 3-word phrase which his predecessor notoriously refused to say. Trump spoke at a memorial service in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, on the anniversary of the Flight 93 crash 17 years ago. Flight 93 was hijacked by terrorists who were planning on ramming the plane into a target in Washington, D.C. on the morning of September 11, potentially the U.S. Capitol or White House. Upon hearing that they were a part of the greater terror plot gripping the country, Flight 93 passengers heroically rushed the cockpit of the plane and attacked the terrorists. The rushing of the cockpit led to the crashing of the plane and the loss of 44 lives. Source: The Daily Caller. During his speech at the memorial where Flight 93 crashed, Trump said, "A piece of America's heart is buried on these grounds, but in its place has grown a new resolve to live our lives with the same grace and courage as the heroes of Flight 93. This field is now a monument to American defiance. This memorial is now a message to the world. America will never, ever submit to tyranny." Since September 11, nearly 5.5 million young Americans have enlisted in the United States Armed Forces, Trump continued. Nearly 7,000 service members have died facing down the menace of radical Islamic terrorism. Today, we also think of the more than 200,000 service members now serving overseas, and we think of every citizen who protects our nation at home, including our state, local, and federal law enforcement, said Trump. These are great Americans. These are great heroes. We honor and thank them all.